It is morning time, and it was a little chilly last night. I was actually surprised how chilly it got. At some point, I had to kind of cinch up the sleeping bag and just have like that little face hole you breathe out of, which is nice and snug in there. But it's getting a little light now, so it's gonna be time for me to hit the trail because I want to do a good chunk of the hiking while it's still kind of cool. And I am looking forward to getting back to my truck and kind of working out of my truck. This is kind of a different mentality than the backpacking trip. But I do know that as soon as I get back to my truck and head on to other locations, I'm going to wish I was back here again because the photography comes pretty easily down here. No crowds to mess with. I can set up a shot. People are going to walk through it because there's not a lot of people down here at all. But I am looking forward to getting back there, a little change of pace, because I feel like I've done pretty good work here so far. But my pack is all ready to go. I'm gonna put that on and make the 7-mile or so hike back to my truck, and hope to get a lot of the hiking done while it's still a little bit on the chilly side, and because this can get pretty harsh pretty fast. But it's time to hit the trail. This actually worked out pretty well because now I'm at the part of the hike where I'm going to be going over some pretty harsh terrain and not a lot of shade, but there's a lot of clouds in the sky, so it makes the hiking a heck of a lot easier. It's also good I'm not down in the canyon right now because it's really hard to shoot those canyons when you have cloudy skies because it really depends so much on having that reflected light. But I got a long way to go, a few more miles or so. I'll be back in my truck. So it has been a pretty long day. I got up at about 5 in the morning, and then it took me about 3-4 hours or so to hike out of the canyon back to my truck, and I still had a pretty long drive. And so I drove over here to Capitol Reef, and I've been going here for the past 2 years, and it's really a great area to shoot because there's so many areas that are, basically it's pretty easy to get off the beaten path, which is pretty nice. But usually I will go to the main campground and grab a campsite there, but they changed the way it works now. It's mostly all reservation based, and it was all booked up before I came here, so I just went over there to kind of see what the procedure was, and at 8:30 in the morning is when they kind of allocate the available sites, but I don't think I really want to mess with that. So instead I am camping here on BLM land, which is just outside the park, and there's all kinds of other like trucks and trailers and all kinds of motorhomes and tents and stuff over in this area, so I think it'll work out pretty well. But it is nice that I'll be able to sleep in the back of my truck because it's pretty cozy. I mean, compared to sleeping in a bivvy in the dirt, this is kind of nice. It's a little windy outside, but I am looking forward to seeing what I can find here. And another thing I want to talk about, when I do all the planning going on these trips, I'm very ambitious about where I want to go, which canyons I want to go into. I had this big plan I kind of aborted just because I was kind of worn out. And there's obviously a lot of, physical energy that goes into it, lugging around the pack, scouting all day long, finding compositions and doing all that stuff. And that's to be expected. But the thing that's so easy to underestimate is how much the solitude will affect me. I was at about my limit for the backpacking trip. I loved being down in that canyon, but at the same time, there's like this tugging on my soul just saying, why are you here? Why are you doing this? And so I'm glad I was able to be productive. But at a certain point, being away from my wife, being away from my house, it does wear thin a little bit at a certain point. But now that I am back here a little bit in civilization, I have a cell signal, which is kind of nice. I plan on seeing what I can find here in Capitol Reef, because hopefully I can find a few more shots to add to the film I've already exposed. But definitely looking forward to a good night's sleep, so we'll see you all in the morning.
If you enjoy this ad-free content and want to help me live my dream, a voluntary contribution of just $24 a year helps keep my gas tank full and my film freezer stocked. For more information on how to support me and my work, please visit the donation section of my website at benhorne.com/donate. I also have prints available on my website. You can find a direct link down below in the show notes. Thanks in advance for your support.